In this video, we'll cover basic paper loading, the paper path, and troubleshooting paper jams. We have 4 trays on our device. Trays 1 and 2 takes any paper between A5 and A3. To load the paper, you adjust the guides by squeezing the button here. You can then adjust the size and the length of the paper. When you load the paper, put it in the center, adjust one side, and bring the other guide to the back. Every time you open the tray, you have a menu coming up on the user interface to confirm what paper has been loaded. You can see here that we didn't change the paper, so we just click OK. If we want, we can change settings, such as selecting coated, uncoated, or a different paper weight. Otherwise, we click OK. The same applies to tray number 2. Tray 3 and 4 are dedicated trays for A4 paper only. There's no adjustment required here other than loading the paper, choosing the grammage, and selecting the type of paper you're loading. The same applies to tray number 4. Every time you open a tray, you have to reconfirm what stock is loaded. So just click OK if you don't want to change the stock, or modify your settings if the stock is changed. On the left-hand side, we have a high-capacity feeder. This one takes up to 2,000 pages, if it is 80 GSM stock. To open up, grab the handle and pull the tray out. The tray automatically will drop. You have a guide here which is at the end of the paper. Please remember to use both hands so you don't bend the metal shaft. The other guide is also to be adjusted to suit the size of the paper. Load the paper. Squeeze both the guides and move them against the paper. You can adjust these air separators to separate the top sheets, depending on your selected paper grammage. You move the buttons forward for the heavier grammage between 257 and 300 GSM, and move them backwards for the lighter stock. When you have completed loading the paper, you can close the tray. There is also a gauge, which tells you how much paper is remaining in the tray. The user interface will ask you to confirm what stock has been loaded. If we didn't change the stock, we just press OK. In some configurations, we may see these additional 2 trays. This one is usually called Tray 6, and this will be Tray 7. The loading of stock into these trays is as we have demonstrated. The only thing to remember is that you're not able to open both trays at the same time. So if you want to open Tray 6, Tray 7 will need to be closed. On top, we have a multi-sheet inserter, where you can load specialty stock. We usually advise customers to use this for unique stock, such as labels. To see if your stock is supported, check the reference guide located in the Fujifilm Business Innovation Support webpage. You load the stock into the tray and adjust the guides until they are touching the sides of the stock. This will also require confirmation from the user interface on what stock was loaded. If there are no changes in the stock settings, you can press OK. Otherwise, you must specify the correct attributes of the new stock. One thing to remember is that trays 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 will automatically adjust to the size of the paper. They all have a sensor at the back of the machine which identifies what paper size is loaded. This is not the case with tray number 5. You can adjust the width, but the machine doesn't know what the length of the paper is. For example, if I load A4 paper, the machine will detect the A4 width. However, if I load A3, the machine will still display A4 because it can't automatically determine the length of the page. That's why you have to manually specify the size on the user interface. You can quickly select from the standard sizes such as A4, A3, or A3, or type custom dimensions if required. So remember, the multi-purpose Tray 5 is a bit more tricky because you have to specify the correct size. When considering the best tray to load your paper, it's a good idea to put the lighter stock in Tray 1 or Tray 2. This is because the lighter stock that ranges anywhere up to 250 GSM can easily bend and turn as it leaves the tray to move up to the printing transfer area. It is also recommended not to use coated stock in Trays 1 and 2 as it can get stuck more easily. Lighter stock can also be loaded in the other trays, but anything heavier should only travel from the left side of the machine. This is because Trays 5, 6, and 7 have a straight paper path, and therefore the heavy stock won't need to bend to get to the print transfer area. If you have a paper jam caused by stock loaded in trays 1 or 2, you may have to clear it from the paper path to continue printing. The machine will tell you where the misfeed occurred, so the best way to locate the jam is to follow the instructions on the screen. It will guide you through the correct order for clearing the jams so that you minimize further damage during the removal of the paper. For example, if the paper jam is here, you open the side door and you locate the jammed paper. If the paper is halfway through the transport area, you remove the paper. In this example, if you don't properly clear this area and you open the tray, you can potentially rip the paper and some of the paper can be left in the engine, and that creates further problems. So the best way to do it is check on the vertical transport area, remove any jammed paper, then close it. If there's nothing there, then you open the tray where your stock is loaded and check there is no damage to the paper or any incorrect tray settings. If we have a paper jam coming out of trays 5, 6, or 7, you open the same door, but in this case we will not be checking the area underneath. You'll be checking the top paper path leading towards the print engine through this transport area. As you can see here, any handle with the color blue can be opened and checked for the misfed paper. Again, when you open up these handles, try to remove the whole piece of paper. Do not cause it to rip further, because if some paper is stuck inside, you will have more problems feeding later on. So if you rip some pages and you remove some paper, check if you have all the page in front of you. If there's nothing here, we can check inside the engine. Before we do, we've just opened one of the paper trays, so we'll click OK. Now open the top door to check the paper path within the print engine. For trays 1, 2, and 3, the paper moves from the trays and bends through the vertical transport area and then moves along the engine through to the imaging unit. If we are printing on stock that has come from trays 5, 6, or 7, the paper travels on a straight path and will move through the print engine in a similar way. So what we do is we open the tray by turning the blue handle. Then hold it and pull out the printing paper transport area and follow the instructions on the screen. And this is our print area paper path. The paper travels from the left-hand side to the right, and sometimes the paper will be sitting just here. Remember, this area to the right is the fusing area, which is quite hot, so be careful when you're touching any non-blue areas with your fingers because it could be quite warm. We should check this area around here and lift this gate to look for any paper. If there's nothing here, we can check the fusing area as well, and the area here. As you can see, I'm opening the gates by touching the handles with the blue color. If we print duplex, potentially the paper will be underneath, so what we can do is move this gate and check to see if there's any paper and remove it. If there's nothing here, we pull the duplex transport lever straight up and gently push the unit back in and move the handle to the up position. If the handle is in the lower position, as I put it now, the door won't close, so you know that something is not correctly positioned. If the paper jams after the printing unit, that's known as the decurler. We can check the paper path by looking in here, but of course you will also have a message on the user interface to guide you as well. So again, the best way is to actually follow the instructions on the screen and check for any jammed paper that has traveled from the engine. Make sure you check this jam clearance door located on the lower left side. This area is used for clearing any jammed double-sided paper. If there's nothing here but there is still an indication that there's paper jammed in the machine, we have a final unit to check. This area is known as our finisher unit. So what we do here is open it up and follow the paper jams depending on the functionality of the finishing accessories. For example, if we are doing standard flat sheet printing, we might have specified for the output to go to the sample tray on top, so potentially the paper will be jammed in the upper section. As another example, if you are performing hole punching or corner stitching, the paper path is different because we're going actually to the tray on the right-hand side here. So that will be the area to check. If we're creating booklets, for example, and the jam happens during making the booklet, this is the area to check. We just pull it out. This is the unit which enables us to staple the booklets, so we check for any paper left here. If there's nothing here, we push this back and that covers all the areas of potential paper jams. On each device you have a screen which displays potentially the position of the paper, so when we close it all up, be sure there is no orange marks on any of these additional screens. When we print, we can specify a variety of options in the printer driver based on what we're trying to do. So what we do is on the right-hand side, we have a sample tray. If we want to print a small job, we can direct the output to the sample tray. The tray underneath is known as output tray number 1. This one is used if we want to do a job with staples, hole punching, or when we need to do offset stacked printing. All the offset requests will go to the tray number 1, as the top tray does not offset. Also, please remember that SRA 3 stock is not able to offset. Anything under SRA 3 size can be offset here. The tray on the bottom is the output tray for the booklet making feature. You don't specify that tray because it's automatically determined by the printer if you select booklet making. So you have options to select either output tray 1 or 2 when you are sending the file for finishing. That's the end of our overview on the paper path and jam clearance areas. For more information, please ensure to watch our video on the correct way to handle and load your paper. Thanks for watching.